Okay. Raise your hand if you've cried at least once in the past month. Okay, good, good. Okay. Okay. Now, raise your hand if you've cried in the past week. Okay. And let's go for a stretch. Who's cried at least once in the past day? Cute, cute. Okay. First of all, I want to say that's awesome. Being emotional and readily able to let out frustration, feel sadness, or express joy, it's one of the most beautiful things the human body is capable of. The thing is, sometimes, a lot of the time, the human mind can take dominance over that function. In elementary school, don't mean to flex, but I was kind of the queen of the playground. Grounders, kickball, laps around the field, you name it, I was good at it. One day, I was playing soccer with the boys in my 4th grade class. Everything was going well, passes were on point, opening up, flattening out, all that good stuff. And then I got hit in the face with the ball. And it wasn't your regular black and white checkered soccer ball. No, it was the partially deflated, solid colored ones. That kick hurt it, but did I cry? No. Did I scream? No. Did I wipe my bloody nose on my sleeve and carry on? Absolutely. The boys went crazy. They thought I was this invincible being incapable of feeling pain or anguish, and I ate it all up. Every piece of attention. On a field of 20 boys, I was the strong one, the celebrated one. And so it continued. A few years later, I found myself in the desert of Saudi Arabia. Living there is definitely different, and it's an experience not many people understand, but for those that do, it's very special. It's always weird trying to explain to people what it is actually living there. I'm sure lots of you are seeing endless rows of oil refineries or vast lands of sand dunes, and it's not that. I mean, it is, but there's so much more to it than that. There, for the kids at least, school is everything, because it connects you to the only other people your age living there. In the fall, we played volleyball. In the winter, we played soccer. In the spring, we ran track. And in the summer, we played basketball, simply because there was nothing else to do. All we had was each other, so we were close. Our circumstance made us close. The thing is, nothing gold can stay. All good things must come to an end, and I don't say this to be poetic or profound. I say this because it's true. There, the school system ends after 9th grade, so we're all forced to find different options. Unfortunately, we all chose differently, and that's where the trouble began. I was ready to go. Not that I didn't love my friends or appreciate the time I spent with them, but again, I was the strong one. I was the one who didn't cry when Greta's family moved back to Kelowna in grade 7. I was the one who beat all the boys' records in fitness testing, except for the mile. I couldn't run the mile. I still cannot run the mile. I was the one whose voice was still and stable when I told my friends that my grandma had died 3 days after my 12th birthday. That was me, the strong one. So, when it was time to go, as you can imagine, I had no problem. In fact, I left 3 days before the last day of school. The last time we'd ever be together, all of us in one place. I left and only told 3 people I was going. At that point, even I bought into it. I was strong, invincible. I had the power to turn off my feelings when everyone else seemed to be drowning in theirs, and the thing is, I didn't even know why. Was it because I thought I had a reputation to maintain, or was I really just an ice queen? I think the fact that I didn't know was the issue. I had let life happen to me, and for some people, that looks like emotional instability. But for me, it resulted in emotional sameness. I taught myself to react in the same way to anything and everything. Never too high, never too low, and some people say that's a sign of leadership, balance. I say it's a sign of immaturity. For the longest time, I didn't know how to be vulnerable, what it was to let people in, and it's funny, right? Because people didn't really seem to have any issues coming to me with their problems, the strong one. I spent so much time accepting people's praise and being that beacon of hope that everything was going to be okay that I'd forgotten what it meant for me to feel. One day, I was at a friend's house. We were doing homework, and I don't know if any of you are like me, but I hate sharing my music. I feel like it's that one thing you can keep a secret about yourself when everything else about your life seems to be on display. Anyways, friend's house, music. I hate sharing my music, but I hate working in silence even more. That's where my refusal to buy Spotify Premium came in clutch. I chose a song, let Spotify work its magic and do the rest for me. Then, one of my favorite songs came on by James Arthur, and I started to sing. Then you smiled over your shoulder. For a minute, I was stone cold sober. I pulled you closer to my chest. And then my friend started to sing too. It was the weirdest thing. We sat there, him and I just staring at my phone, and we just sang. And then we looked up at each other, and a tear, one single tear, rolled down my face. The words to the song were vulnerable, yes, but now here I was, singing them with someone I'd known my whole life, someone who'd known me to be hard and stable, yet here I was just letting myself get lost in the sauce of a corny love song. It didn't match my narrative, and it crushed me, and I loved it, and it changed me. Here's the thing. Taking a ball to the face and carrying on unfazed, can't lie, it's kind of a boss move, but it wasn't really strength. Obviously, at the age of 9 years old, I didn't think it was that deep, but I don't think my pride in that moment ever really went away. It got to the point where I didn't even have to pretend anymore. Saying things like, I'm okay and it's all good, became my normal, not necessarily because it was true, but because I'd forgotten what emotion actually matched a statement like, I'm having a really bad day. Since realizing this about myself, I've been working on it. I try to hug people more and say uncomfortable words like, I love you, and I hope, that ice is thawing. I look at where I am now, who I am now, and it reminds me of where I never want to be. It reminds me to notice how other people are feeling so that I can be kind, but I think more importantly, it reminds me to take a step back, notice how I'm feeling so that I can be unapologetically sad, angry, anxious, because the truth is I still think I'm the strong one. I think I take pride in being the strong one, but isn't every hero's victory that much sweeter when you've seen them at their weakest? Thank you.